Imagine you're 17, just a regular high school kid, and one night flips your entire life upside down. That's what happened to Ryan Ferguson. At 19, he was slapped with a 40-year sentence for a murder he didn't commit. No DNA, no fingerprints, nothing but a shaky story. How does that even happen? In the next 10 minutes, we're diving into Ryan's wild story, how he lost nearly a decade of his life and fought his way out. If you're into true crime and stories of justice, hit that subscribe button to Underworld Exposé so you don't miss what's coming next. Let's get into it. It's Halloween night, 2001 in Columbia, Missouri, a college town, lively, full of energy. Kent Heitholt, a 48-year-old sports editor for the Columbia Daily Tribune, is burning the midnight oil at the newspaper office. Around 2 a.m., he heads to his car in the parking lot. That's when it goes down. Someone attacks him, beats him, and strangles him with his own belt. It's brutal. 11 blows to the head, blood everywhere. Kent doesn't make it. His family's left devastated, and to this day, they're still waiting for real justice. We'll keep that in mind as we go. Now, meet Ryan Ferguson and Chuck Erickson, two 17-year-old high school kids. They're out that night, doing what teens do, sneaking into a bar called By George, sipping drinks, laughing, maybe feeling a little invincible. They're underage, sure, but harmless. They leave around 1:30 a.m., head home, and that's that. Or so they thought. The crime scene is just a few blocks away, but there's nothing. No DNA, no fingerprints, no blood, tying Ryan or Chuck to Heitholt's murder. Police comb the lot, find a hair, some blood, but none of it matches anyone they suspect. For 2 years, the case goes cold. No leads, no arrests. So, how does Ryan end up in this mess? It starts with Chuck Erickson, his buddy. Chuck's got a history of partying hard. Cocaine, Adderall, alcohol, you name it. That Halloween night, he was so out of it, his memory's a black hole. Fast forward to 2004, 2 years later. Chuck's watching TV, sees a news story about Heitholt's unsolved murder, and starts having these weird dreams. He's thinking, wait, did I do something that night? His brain's filling in gaps, and he's freaking out. So he goes to the police and drops a bombshell. He says he and Ryan tried to rob Heitholt for cash to keep partying, and it went wrong. Chuck's story is a mess. He doesn't know how Heitholt was killed, doesn't mention the belt, nothing specific, until the cops start feeding him details. Sounds like a red flag, right? You'd think the police would see through this, but instead they're like, jackpot! They arrest Ryan and Chuck in March 2004. Ryan's stunned. He's like, I was home by 1:30 a.m. I didn't touch this guy. No evidence backs him up, but no evidence points to him either. Still, they're both charged with murder and robbery. You're probably wondering, how do you build a case on this? Let's see how it plays out. He tells them, I was at the bar, went home early, didn't see Heitholt. His story's consistent, but the cops aren't buying it. They lean hard on both guys. Chuck's already crumbling, and they offer him a deal. Testify against Ryan, get a lighter sentence. Chuck's scared, facing life in prison, so he takes it. Ryan? He's got no deal. No evidence against him, just Chuck's word. March 10th, 2004, they arrest both for murder and robbery. Ryan's locked up, waiting for trial, his whole future on the line. His family's in shock. His dad, Bill, and mom, Leslie, are fighting to prove he's innocent. But the system's already rolling, and it's not looking good. Fast forward to October 2005. Ryan's on trial in Columbia, Missouri for second-degree murder and robbery. He's 19, facing a jury, and the stakes are insane. 40 years if he loses. The prosecution's case is like a house of cards, but they're playing it like a royal flush. Chuck's the star witness. He took a plea deal, 25 years for manslaughter and robbery, if he testifies against Ryan. On the stand, he says he saw Ryan strangle Heitholt with the belt during a botched robbery. Sounds convincing, right? Except Chuck's story's a patchwork of stuff he heard from cops. Then there's Jerry Trump, the janitor. He worked at the Tribune that night and says he saw two guys in the parking lot. In 2001, he told cops he couldn't make out their faces. It was too dark. But by 2005, after police pressure, he points at Ryan and Chuck in court. "That's them," he says. The jury's eating it up. Ryan's defense? They argue he was home by 1:30 a.m., nowhere near the crime scene. His girlfriend backs him up, but there's no hard alibi evidence, like a time-stamped receipt. The prosecution, led by Kevin Crane, paints Ryan as a reckless teen who killed for cash. They don't mention the holes in Chuck's story or the pressure on Trump. They don't have to. Juries love confessions, even flimsy ones. After a tense trial, the jury deliberates. Ryan's hit with 40 years, 30 for murder, 10 for robbery. He's shipped to a Missouri prison, a teenager locked away for something he swears he didn't do. His family's crushed, but they're not giving up. You're probably screaming at the screen right now. How do you convict someone with no evidence? That's what Ryan's asking himself every day behind bars. Ryan's locked up, but the fight's not over. In 2009, a Chicago attorney named Kathleen Zellner steps in, and she's a game changer. Zellner's known for taking on hopeless cases and turning them around like a legal superhero. She takes Ryan's case pro bono, free, because she smells something rotten. She digs in, and boy does she find it. By 2012, the case starts falling apart. First, Chuck Erickson recants. He admits he lied on the stand to save himself. In a sworn statement, he says, "I was good at making stuff up," and confesses he pieced his story together from what cops told him. His memory from that night, still a drug-fueled blur. Then there's Jerry Trump, the janitor. He flips too. He says the police pressured him to ID Ryan and Chuck, even though he wasn't sure who he saw. He feels guilty, says he was manipulated. Zellner uncovers more. The prosecution hid evidence, like an interview with Trump's wife that could have helped Ryan's defense. That's called a Brady violation, when prosecutors don't share evidence that could prove innocence. It's a big deal. Zellner takes all this to the Missouri Court of Appeals Western District. She argues there's no case left, no evidence, no reliable witnesses. On November 5th, 2013, the court agrees. They vacate Ryan's conviction, saying there's no evidence left to support a conviction. On November 12th, 2013, Ryan walks out of prison, free at last. He's 29 now, hugging his family, tears everywhere. The state doesn't retry him. There's nothing to retry. The Heitholt murder stays unsolved, leaving a hole for his family, but Ryan's finally out of that cage. Ryan didn't just go home and call it a day. He fought back, big time. In 2017, he sued the Columbia police for fabricating evidence and won $11 million, plus $1 million for legal fees. Then, in November 2024, he hit another jackpot, $38 million from Travelers Insurance for dragging their feet on paying the settlement. That's almost $50 million total. But can you really put a price on 10 years of your life? Ryan's not just about the money. He's become an advocate, speaking out for others stuck in his shoes. He even hosted a show on MTV called Unlocking the Truth in 2016, shining a light on wrongful convictions. And get this, he supported Chuck Erickson, the guy whose lies put him away. Chuck was paroled in 2023 after 18 years, and Ryan's been vocal about second chances. But here's the tough part. Kent Heitholt's murder is still unsolved. His family's still waiting for the real killer to be caught. That's the other side of this tragedy, and it's why Ryan's story isn't just about him. It's about a system that failed everyone. Since 1989, over 3,500 people have been exonerated in the US, people like Glenn Simmons, who served 48 years for a murder he didn't commit. That's decades stolen, families torn apart, lives derailed. Ryan's lucky he had Zellner, but what about the others still fighting? That's why stories like this matter. They're not just about one guy. They're about fixing a system that keeps screwing up. So what do you think? How does a kid like Ryan lose 10 years over a confession that didn't add up? And what about Kent Heitholt's family, still waiting for answers? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should cops face bigger consequences for pushing false confessions? Should Chuck Erickson have gotten out sooner? If you're hooked on stories of justice and injustice, smash that subscribe button to Underworld Exposé and hit the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. We're bringing you more true crime, more courtroom drama, and more stories that need to be told. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.